I'm on a quest to find music and art. Supporting local talent is the place I start. Yeah, this is our culture, the place to be. Games, books, arts and crafts and jewelry. This the guardians of the geekery. 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 And now for today's episode of Guardians of the Geekery with your hosts, Matt, Carol, and Joey.
Hey, so we are with one of our favorite authors who's back again this year for the Geekery market. Brand new last year. Now you're an old timer, right, Gerrit?
Yes.
But what is the Geekery market? It's 30,000 square feet of geeky awesome. It's going to be at Cabarrus Arena and Events Center. You'll know you're in the right place because it won't be where all the cheerleaders are. It'll be where the inflatable 16-foot dragon is, although some of the cheerleaders like to come over as well. Over 80 different authors, artisans, and artists that are going to be there, and one of them will be our very own Gerrit Overeem. And if you haven't noticed, he, like me, has an affinity for Star Wars. So welcome back, Gerrit.
No. Thank you. Yes, just a little bit.
Never would have known.
So let's start off with the elephant in the room, or the pit droid in the room. So behind you is something very exciting. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is and how it came to be on that table back there?
Well, I was thinking about the Geekery market and the good work they do. So as you can see, I'm into building 3D printed Star Wars droids. So I thought I would build a pit droid and give it a nice little paint scheme off of another droid that I'm going to be bringing. And I thought I'd donate it to the Geekery market. So as a raffle. So it is a Star Wars pit droid with an Imperial base. And it stands about 4 feet tall. And it'll be at the Geekery market where you can buy a raffle ticket and hopefully take it home.
Yeah, so we are going to be offering raffle tickets. Hopefully you'll come by the Geekery market and see it there, but we will probably allow for some advanced ticket sales, and we will get that delivered to you if you win. But the best chance that you'll have to win is if you actually come to the market. We'll be raffling it off in the last hour of the day, just to give everybody a chance to get their tickets in advance. So it'll be $5 a ticket, or you can get 5 tickets for $20. So pretty good deal. And we are going to have the details up there on the website, but we wanted to wait until Gerrit was on so he could show it. And just to be clear, in case you didn't catch what he said, all of those droids that you see behind the pit droid are the droids you're looking for, because he 3D printed every single one of those and painted them, right?
Yes, they're all hand painted, a lot of sanding, a lot of painting.
And how long did the pit droid take to make?
That was probably a month's worth of work.
Wow.
Printing it, and then sanding, primer, painting. This one I made it look like it was off the assembly line, so it doesn't have the weathering on it. So I wanted it to be all pristine.
And
what was the first droid you made?
The first droid was the green pit droid in the back.
The little one to the right.
And was the B1 battle droid, and then commando droid, worker droid, then the HK-47.
And you also have the big one that you're working on right now.
Well, there's one that is not shown here because it would take up pretty much all the space. I built a life-size droideka. It is massive. Gosh. I have to stand on a stool to put the top on, but I'm going to be bringing that to the Geekery market.
Yes. And if you're at the Geekery market last year, you remember that we had a display of them, and Gerrit has so kindly offered to put some of his droids back up again. The only thing I will say is, they're not glass or anything, but let's not touch them too much.
No.
There's a lot of work that goes into these droids, and I know the kids get really excited, but let's just be cautious. None of your droids got injured last year, but
no, none of them got injured. Some of them are weathered, so if they get more damage, it just looks better.
Don't take that as an invitation.
Don't take it as an invitation, but just saying, accidents do happen. The good thing about 3D print is if something
These are the droids you're looking at, not touching.
I like that.
Yeah, exactly. Not touching. Yeah, we'll have to get a sign made for that. We'll take one of our little signs and put that up. These are the droids you're looking at, not touching. So we'll
I
have
like that. I'm
that.
gonna have to steal that.
Yeah, well, and we'll put that down. Make a note of that, Carol. So
I will make a note of that.
so along with your droids, which are fantastic, you're also going to be bringing your books. Are there any droids in your books?
There are AI constructs and AIs. I wouldn't call them droids because then I think I'd be getting a conversation from some legal team of
Yeah.
a big
Yeah.
company.
A very big company with ears. Yes, would be like, oh, wait a minute, that's our word.
Yeah, so but there are AIs and robots and drone type stuff in the book. It is sci-fi mixed with a little bit of fantasy. This year I'll have book 5 in my series with me. That came out
Wow.
this past January. It's the biggest in the series at 120,000 words. So it continues the journey of a man at a time, Ryan Hunt, who has been resurrected in the far future.
Do you have any copies that you can show us on the screen?
Yes, I do. Let me just go over to the display case here. Here is the first book in the series, Resurrection, and then the last book in the series, book 5 module. So the books have a underlining D&D tone to it. So if you kind of look at the last title of the book here, module, kind of falls into that D&D type aspect.
So are you going to continue the series, or is that literally the last book of the series?
No, I'm about 60,000 words into book 6.
Ah,
It looks like there'll be a
okay.
book 7.
Yeah,
The
we had
story goes on.
we had Samantha Bryan on a previous episode, and she just completed one of her series, and one of the conversations we had is, how do you know when your series is done? But I don't think you're at that point yet. So
No.
we will save that conversation for next year's Geekery Market or the Geekery Market after that. So
That works for me.
so are you a pants writer, or are
Oh,
you a planner?
I do a high level plot that I jot down. I have it most of my head, but I'm mostly a pantser. So I start off with my plot, but then I like scenarios. So I'm constantly thinking different scenarios of everything, even in daily life. So as I'm writing the book, I keep thinking, what if the character did this? What if the character did that? If I put them in this situation, and then all of a sudden it starts going in its own directions. So I would say most of my books are off the cuff as I'm writing.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome. That, yeah. Jinx
So
said it at the same time. That's I find so many writers are like high level planners where they're just or meticulous planners where they have note cards just everywhere with every little thing. And it's always nice to find a writer that writes just like, well, I let this characters tell me where they're going. That it's kind of rare now. So
well, I kind of think of it like I'm going through a D&D module. I get to the end of the corridor. Do I turn left? Do I turn right? I'm like, well, what do I see if I turn left? What do I see if I turn right? And that starts changing things. So that's
there's
kind of the aspects I go on.
So how
I-
long did it take you to write your first book versus maybe your second, third, or fourth?
The first book, 5 years it took. And then every book after that is either 2 years or a year and a half. If it wasn't for the day job, they'd be coming out a lot faster.
yeah.
I do wish I could go back and rewrite the first book, but every experienced author I've spoken to says you never do that
You
because
just leave it. Yeah.
just leave it because if you mess something up, it now throws the whole series out of whack.
Yeah. Yeah. And people understand that it's a process, right? So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so maybe your next series or your spin-off series from that, you take the lessons you've learned and move forward, right? So,
Yeah, I
or
can see
even
that.
from book to book. So
Yeah, I can see my writing journey, the evolution of my writing style changing through the books. And it's very interesting when I go back and read the first one again, and then I read the last one. It's a big difference in the writing style. So, and and also as an author, you got to be thick-skinned anyway, because there's going to be people that love the book. I've had people show up at Comic-Con just to have me autograph a book, and then I've seen reviews where people hated the book. So, you can go to Star
Yeah.
Wars, Dune, go back to those, and then people don't like them. So, everyone's got a
Heck,
different
people
taste.
don't like Dune today. I'm always amazed at those people that are like 1 star. Oh, come on. Come
There's people that
on.
don't like Star Wars, and I'm shocked at that.
What got you into the 3D printing? Was it just like you wanted droids in your life and this was the easiest way to do it? Or
I saw something, I was watching the internet and people are printing these little, cool things for the house and things. I was like, all right, maybe I'll just experiment with it and, maybe 3D print some gifts for Christmas or something like that. So I bought a cheap printer, learned on it. And then I started, on Facebook, on the Star Wars forum, someone built a droid. I'm like, oh, where they built a droid? And then all of a sudden I backtrack. Next thing you know, I found a guy that engineers the files. You buy them from like, 30 to $40. Sometimes they're for charity. And he just, I bought them and kept going. Of course, my wife is like, where are we putting these?
well, I
Because
mean,
But
come
see, you've
on. Those are
learned this.
great household like decoration. Those are awesome.
that's what I say. Because I also have right now in my workshop, I actually finished the printing of a B2 Super Battle Droid. So that'll be going outside to start the sanding process on that.
And you had them up for your Halloween decorations last year on Halloween, right? In your
Yes.
garage that people could come up and see them.
Yes, I'm also a member of the 501st Legion Star Wars costuming group. So I set up the droids outside and I stood in between them as a stormtrooper. And what we did was we put a basket in front of each droid and had the kids vote on which was their favorite droid.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
well, that was cool.
Yeah, the kids loved it.
Which one won?
The commando droid.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you can see, that's probably off camera. I'll just turn it a little bit. You can see the purple commando droid there.
Oh, there
Oh,
we go. Yep.
yeah.
And then the worker droid, the white and orange droid, came in second by like 2 votes.
Did they vote by taking the candy? Was
Well,
it the
well, we kind of put poker chips out there and had them take the
okay.
poker chip and throw it in the basket.
into the basket? Okay.
But then I had to post it on my community Facebook group because everybody wanted to know.
Like who won? Yeah.
Did you build the Han Solo in carbonite as well?
Yes, the Han Solo and Carbonate is not 3D printed, but that took me about 2.5 years to get the parts and put together. So I found someone who actually did a vinyl mold of Han, but everything else is, I bought pieces here and there, built it. The carbonite effect is 6 layers of Elmer's glue.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
There are probably
must
some
have taken
school
forever to
children who are
harden.
missing out on their crafts because of you now.
oh, I bought jugs of the stuff. I was covered in it, so I felt like a little kid again.
Yeah, get the
Oh, yes.
dust all over your fingers. Oh my God.
So I have
So-
to ask, how did you get Harrison Ford for that? I mean, he comes with a steep price.
I've seen
It
people.
looks amazing.
Oh, thank
It
you.
looks amazing.
You wouldn't be able to see from here, but the sides do light up. So I have
Oh,
a blinking light on the side, so you can turn a dial and it'll be the slow blink from Empire Strikes Back, and you turn it and it'll be the fast blink from Return of the Jedi when he was melting out of it. I wanted
wow.
to get the Comic Cons, but by the time I finished, it's like 300 pounds with the base. So I'm like, yeah,
that's not going anywhere. That's
No.
not going in anywhere quickly.
it'll stay right there, and whoever inherits it all can have a field day.
So how long have you been in the 501st now?
Let's see, 2014, 2012, so 2012. Because I went to New York Comic Con in 2010, and I saw them there. I was like, got the information, didn't quite understand it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Then I was walking around, and 2 sand troopers walked by talking over a comm system with static. I'm like, that's it, I'm buying a costume. And I hate to say it, but I've done more as a stormtrooper than I've done as me. I was on the TV show Ink Masters when they had a flash challenge and I had to carry in
Oh, yeah.
helmets.
I think I saw that episode.
I was one of them, carried in the helmets.
I
in the
think I
beginning.
saw that episode.
For us doing that, they made a donation to the Wounded Warriors.
Yeah.
For us being there. I've marched in the Disney parade 3 times, and that was probably the ultimate experience, marching in formation with like 40 other stormtroopers and seeing yourself on the big screen walking down,
That's
Hollywood
crazy.
Boulevard there. So
Which version of Stormtrooper are you currently?
I have a Return of the Jedi Stormtrooper. I also have a Sand Trooper that's based off the ones that were by the hover car. Then I got Boba Fett, Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, and an Imperial Line Officer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Which one do you prefer to wear the most?
Return of the Jedi Stormtrooper. Yeah, I used to like going at events early, and then when there was a line for a Comic-Con or a charity event, I used to like patrolling the line. and just, picking on the kids that were dressed up like, you look familiar, as they're dressed like Princess Leia. I used to have wanted posters for the droids.
That's what's supposed to happen at the Geekery market this year.
Oh, okay.
We're hoping. We're
Yeah.
hoping. We have some different groups coming in to assist us with line management, just to make sure there's not any droids we aren't looking for trying to
That's
sneak
right.
in, or any, wayward ectoplasm coming in via the canned goods or anything like that. So we hope to have some of those on hand. We know how very busy they are, though, but we hope to have some assisting with the line management. So we are looking forward to that. But it's so fun. I think it's just so fun, and it just makes it right from the beginning that you walk in and say, okay, this is not your typical event, so it just gives that, you never know what's going to impact a child to be like, what's that, and learn more about it, and just tweak that curiosity so that they're eager to find out more. So I always think that's a good thing. So
It's great. It's great seeing the kids all excited for the characters. It's also interesting to see the adults too. I've been to events where the father pushed his kids out of the way and yelled he was waiting 20 years for this photo, and ran up to Vader and took a picture.
I've
oh
seen
my.
parents, I've seen parents who have taken their kids to Disney and gone on the Millennium Falcon ride, and they told the kids, "No, you're not flying this. I have waited to fly this for 50 years. Close to 50 years. You're not flying this. I am." So I'm like, well,
I have to
thanks to
say,
you,
so
kid.
my husband and I went to Disney World. Was it 2 years ago, Carol? 2 years
I think so,
ago,
yeah.
2 or 3 years ago. And first of all, at the time, their disability services was great. I know they've had to crack down because unfortunately people abuse it, but it was perfect for what we needed. But we ended up spending 2 days in Hollywood studios just to be in the Star Wars events. And neither Matt nor I had been to Disney World in 30 years, and we don't have children. So we were definitely the Disney adult. We didn't necessarily walk around with the ears and stuff like that. But I will say that some of those rides were just so much fun.
Oh
I
yeah.
had such a great time, and it was so immersive, especially the Star Wars area where you could, download apps and do different things. Matt had to make the lightsaber,
Oh
and go
yes.
in. And I appreciated the fact that for the cost, you could have one guest go in.
Yep.
So he made the lightsaber one day. We actually spent 2 of our 3 days there. And then the other day I got to make the droid. So I have the droid, he has the lightsaber, and that was perfect. But now the name has gone out of my head, but there's the one ride that's like 18 minutes long because it's that whole experience.
Ride of the Resistance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. With the
That
interaction in the beginning. Yeah.
was amazing.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing. And I we absolutely did it twice. We did that twice. We also did we did a couple things. Matt is not a big roller coaster person,
Mhm.
so we could only do Guardians of the Galaxy once. But with the Rise of the Resistance, I was like, I will never not say that that's not a good. I will do that every time.
Oh yeah. If I can get on that one, all the time.
Yeah, it was great, and it was just so well planned out. And I think that's one of those things that I admire so much, because each room had a different segment, so you were never bored while you were waiting, or if you were bored, it's because you weren't paying attention, because there was always something to look at, something to listen to, something to prepare for. So it was a great experience, and I would highly recommend it for anybody who was there. So the fact that you got to walk in the parade's just really cool. Now,
Oh yeah.
wouldn't you have loved it if you were out in California when they were filming the first season of Mandalorian?
Yeah, I missed out on that one. I
That
would
was
love
amazing
that.
too. That's another thing. My hats off to just my favorite thing, even beyond the Mandalorian, was the behind the scenes series that you can see on Disney Plus, where they talk about all the directors getting together and partnering on each of the episodes,
Yep.
and all the special effects, and that 360 film screen that they created, all of that stuff. It was just amazing. So And maybe someday your books will be in a series like that.
One could
That
hope.
wouldn't that be amazing?
It would be great.
Bringing
Now,
it back, how
yeah,
do you like, I'm always, because I write myself now. I don't like, I haven't been published anything. It's just doodling mostly. How do you make time to write? Do you just schedule yourself and say, well, okay, work 8 to 5. Now I need to write for 2 hours and then go print droids.
I've had to change the way I was doing stuff. The last book being 120,000 words, the amount of editing I put into it almost burnt me out.
Ah,
Though I took a couple months off, and then when I started writing book 6, I've been got myself into a habit of 500 words a day. Because
oh,
if you
that's
do
good.
500 words a day in 3 months, you pretty much got a book.
Yeah,
So
that's,
I'm up usually till midnight, 1 a.m.
oh
So
gosh.
so I work, then spend time watching TV, eating dinner with my wife, and hanging out. Then when she goes to bed, I start my second job, which is the marketing, the writing, and all that. So I'm usually in bed about midnight 1, and then up by 5:36.
wow.
Dang.
Yeah, we're not
Wow,
there.
I thought I had a terrible sleep schedule.
Yeah, if I can get up early enough, I'll write in the morning too. So, but usually if I run out to lunch, you'll find me with a notebook and I'm always jotting down notes for future books. So that's usually what I reference.
It's,
That was my schedule, is that I worked in radio for a number of years, and I'm halfway through my first book. I have to go back, but I also kind of want to just move on and write something else and come back. Um, but what I found myself doing was spending my lunch hour writing in the notebook. And then once my workday ended, before I went home, I would sit for an hour and just edit what I'd written that day and you know, transport it into a Word document so that I could like kind of re-edit and write as I went. But got to get back in the habit. Now I work from home and I work through lunch. So before
Oh,
I would literally leave, I worked in Greenville, South Carolina, and I worked right on Main Street. So there's about 10 good restaurants, and like 4 of them just knew me. And I'd come in, place my order, sit down at a table, and just start writing. And then they'd just bring my meal over, I'd eat it, and then my alarm would ding and I'd go back upstairs and go back to work. But uh my job now tends to bleed into lunch
oh,
hours, breaks, and all that kind of
yeah.
stuff. So it's
Yeah, I
sure.
was joking at the last podcast that I had just signed off work, so it was literally like turn from this computer to this computer.
yeah, mine doesn't quite work that way. I have to literally lift one computer off and another one on because of the way my desk is. So, because it's really just a swing arm. So it's just enough room for one laptop at a time. So, but I feel that pain. I feel that pain.
I
Well,
forgot
Gerrit,
there
you,
was an author I was reading recently and they had an issue where they couldn't write a lot, but they were doing like 5 to 10 minute spurts of writing. So they'd 5 minute speed write and then they were done. And then, a couple hours later, 5 minutes. That's how they ended up writing their book between
Sometimes
what
that's
was
what you
going
got
on.
to do to get it done.
Yeah. So interesting concept.
Yes.
yeah, I think you'd have to be dedicated enough to and be ready to immediately start writing. It
Yeah.
would take me 5 minutes just to get ready.
Yeah.
I like the writing process. I can go through the writing process pretty quick. I like heavy metal music, but I turn on trance music when I write because I like the beat, repetitive beat
Mhm.
kind of keeps me in a rhythm. But when I edit, I need perfect quiet. But the editing process is what I hate. Going back to read what I wrote, I wrote this, it's horrible. And you sit there yourself.
I remember I spent 3 hours or 3 days writing just one paragraph, trying to get the movement of the character correct and like practicing and everything. And I went back and said, this paragraph isn't needed. Like, why did I spend 3 days
Yeah.
on that? I could just say this and be done with it. But at the time, it seemed so critical for me to get every nuance right. And it's like, but the reader is not going to appreciate it to the depth that my blood,
Yeah.
sweat, and tears. They just want the action. So, but yeah, it's always interesting to kind of see that part to it. So,
Well, the action scenes is where I sometimes have problems because I have a martial arts background. So I'll write a fight scene and then my wife reads it and she's like, why are you trying to write an instruction manual?
Yeah.
yeah,
Fight scene, action,
Exactly.
quick.
Yeah.
So I have to
yeah.
tone it all down so it's not very detailed.
Well, and you could always do what the author Misty Massey does, and she has her husband jump off cars so she can capture how she would write.
Exactly. She would do that.
Well, I've had to go into the living room and hand my wife, one of the rubber training knives and say, okay, try to stab me this way so I can see how I'm going to act.
And does she say gladly? You know?
Oh, yes. She's got a couple.
Oh, this
belts
is
under her.
rubber.
Yeah, when we were younger, she used to take martial arts as well, so she had no problems throwing me around. So.
Oh my gosh, too funny. Well, Gerrit, as always, the time spent with you is a joy, and we appreciate and are so honored that you donated your pit droid. Just, once again, if you guys are on audio, you need to go to the video to at least look at this pit droid. It's amazing. And we will have...
It's full size. It's full size. It's not tiny. It's full size.
Yeah. This is also 3D printed. I had a friend of mine from work said, "Oh, you're geeky? Let me send you Grogu." And I was like, "That's so cool. My friend just made a 5-foot one." She's like, "Geez, Joey." I'm sorry. I do appreciate it though, and it fits nicely on my thing. I don't know that I'd have room for all the ones you have, but it's definitely fun to check it out. And I don't want to give Matt any ideas. Let's just be very clear.
Well, if you need help or guidance, I can always, where to start.
Listen, I have a Star Wars bedroom. We have a Star Wars bathroom. And then we have random Star Wars all around the house. I need to have space for my Doctor Who stuff and the Lord of the Rings, J.R. Tolkien stuff. So, and then all the Marvel and Avengers. So I'm running out of rooms for those kind of themes. So we already got 2 Star Wars rooms out of all of them. So let's not give him too many ideas. Now, if you come up with a pit droid that can dispense toilet paper, let's talk. So I could probably put that in there.
I know. We could probably...
Oh no, his brain is working. All right, before we get too far, make sure to come check out Gerrit on November 15th. And Gerrit, before, if they want to check out some of your titles, do some pre-ordering, get reading ahead of time, where can they find you?
They can find me at my author site, GerritOvereem.com.
And we will have it in our show notes as well. Make sure to check that out or go to geekerymarket.com. You can click on the drop-down list for 2025 artisans and see some examples of their work, links to their various social media, and get your shopping list for your holiday shopping ready. All right, Gerrit, always great to see you. We'll see you
Nice seeing you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
That was an episode of Guardians of the Geekery. Thank you for listening. Check us out at guardiansofthegeekery.com and stay tuned for more content.